This is a little example of different ways to train the MEDUSA Edged Weapons System. Here you see me, Jason, and Keith working on pads and scenario-based training. The scenario-based training is very important because it allows you to de-escalate situations or role-play de-escalating, and also role-playing adapting to what happens in the moment. If you watch carefully in some of the scenarios, I will run away after knocking Jason to the ground when we're wearing our fishbowl helmets. Pad training is a must if you want to be a functional fighter. I don't think there is anything that is better at developing movement and fighting skills. See, when Jason fell there, I ran away rather than continuing aggression. This is the beauty of MEDUSA, the formula, shock, latch, and stab, because shock and latch doesn't have to go to stab. And you have to understand that if you practice this system. You have to really work towards that. And also, when we're practicing this stuff, it allows us to defend as the role player, as the aggressor, as the person who starts the fight and creates a self-defense scenario. You can also be practicing your defense against knives to make it more difficult for the person who's using the knife. You can try to grab two hands on one. You can try to wrap the knife up. There, I didn't have to use the knife for anything other than a threat. He backed off once I started threatening him with the knife to the throat. So every scenario is different. Every coach who's running the scenario will change it as they're doing this, so that you have to adapt to what they tell you, what they're doing. There he asked for my wallet, and I set it down. Not literally, but in the scenario. I put my wallet on the ground, and the scenario was over. So you have to teach your students, if you're going to teach this kind of stuff, to be adaptable to multiple scenarios, to not always go to the most extreme level of force, because whenever you're in a violent situation, you should be training to constantly reassess in the moment. Constantly reassess. Jason goes down, I start drawing my knife as if there's another opponent in that scenario. When you are pad training, you have to visualize hitting a person, not the pads. This is also true of bag training. Never see a bag. See a person. See an aggressor. See a violent man who's standing in front of you. Visualize it, because that creates emotion. According to many combative experts like Lee Morrison, the more you visualize and make this realistic and create emotion, the more effective it is in getting this training into your subconscious, into your body, and making these movements natural to you and effective under real world pressure. Whether that is true or not, I believe this is a very realistic way to train.